Hey guys, we're Royal Thunder. Our new record, Crooked Doors, comes out April 7th, and please pick it up if you feel so inclined.
Pick a track.
Hey guys, pick a track. You're supposed to say it too.
Pick a track.
Pick a track.
Pick a
Pick
track.
a track. How many times was picking a track?
All right, 1, 2, 3.
Pick a track. As far as singing that one was, you'll hear like the acapella part in the beginning, and that was me watching one of my favorite movies, Legends of the Fall. I was watching that movie and I was like, oh my god, I got an idea for that song, And I went to the bathroom and I grabbed my phone. I just started like humming out the song. It was the acapella, and then after you hear that part, you don't hear what I was going to do, which was pretty terrible and boring. We tracked the whole song and Joey was like, and I was like, yeah, you're right. This isn't as cool as I thought it was going to be. So that was another one where I sat there forever and I tried to figure out what I was going to do. And then when I finally found it, I think it just kind of like just went into some pocket, and I was like, that is totally what the song is supposed to sound like. And when it got to the middle part where you hear like the screams or whatever, that was kind of off the cuff and just happened, but it was an expression of like what I was about to say. Like after that, I remember on that part where it's like, that timing was crucial because there were so many like things happening with the bass and the drums, and that being able to sing and find my space in that was really difficult. Joey helped me a lot through that. Anyway, so did it smell good?
It smelled good.
Okay. That was also a song too where I think it was because Evan and I had struggled a lot with, from my end, being I have this terrible sense of time when it comes to playing bass. I've never paid attention to a drummer. I'm not like a schooled musician, and Evan knows exactly what he's doing, so that was always a struggle. So this song is kind of an example of like, this is why it's important to be in the pocket and lock in, because if that song didn't have that, it probably sound like shit, which is fine. Shitty music's good too in its own right. Punk rock, we were listening to punk rock the other day and I could have shot my face off. It's awful.
Like the way all the cymbals sound in old punk rock records.
Yeah.
One day, like the middle, like talking about being locked up, that was kind of the hardest part for us to actually figure out how many times we're going to do this part and that part. We just kind of had to keep playing through it until we felt like it was right, and it was a lot of, we had to sit there and play it over and over and again. Once again, it was one of those things where it was a real pain in the ass, but in the end, it was well worth it. That one was really fun to track though. It was very trying, but in the end, it's now one of my favorite ones to play.
The song is a perfect example of less is more to me. It's one of my favorites too. That's also why having Will, man, is awesome, because on that middle section it drops down and he hits those down hits, those big accents with me and Will with me and Mel, sorry, where Josh is laying down the intricate stuff, which is it's cool having two guitars in the mix on that song live.
And Will does a really good version of the acapella intro.
Oh, yeah.
He did it the other day at practice.
Yeah.
He's good at it.
I didn't do my exercises, so I can't do it right now. Normally.
Well, maybe one day Will will sing.
One day.
Oh! On an album.
Oh.
The Bear won.
Now, is that the one with guitar? Is that the one with just piano? Or
Upright
is that
bass.
one guitar?
Upright bass, brushes.
Guitar?
Yeah, you were on the album.
I know
That's
that, but I'm not on one of the bears.
No, the Bear one is the
Bear
one.
two.
Where you on?
I don't know what bear I'm on.
Well,
Which bear?
Josh is on a bear.
Uh-oh.
What kind of bears do you like?
All right, yeah, so the bear one actually...
So you're not two-timing on the bear.
no, just one
Okay.
one bear at a
Just two
time.
bears.
Okay.
So the bear one was a little ditty that I wrote years ago. Actually, we were playing with somebody that just didn't really dig it and thought it sounded like I remember something like ISIS or something weird like that, and I was like,
What?
yeah, I mean it's a really strange reference to like, but it just
That person said it sounded like that?
something like that, yeah.
That's...
It was
really?
it was strange, so it was kind of like just discarded for a while. It just, when I was in the studio, it just came like it. I remembered it and always loved the progression and loved, how delicate it was and how simple it was. And I never really wanted to turn it to anything but that. And the cello stuff is awesome too. Matt Gerard
Yeah,
did a
Matt
great
Gerard's
job
awesome.
accenting both the Bear 1 and 2.
He was on CVI, and he was also on the acoustic stuff too, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you hear a cello, it's Matt Gerard, and
Yeah.
he is awesome.
Awesome.
Such a
man.
good dude, and even just as equally awesome cello player. But the Bear 1, that was the first time I'd ever played the upright bass, minus the one time I tried it was like a electric weirdo guitar center upright. Remember when I was like, I think I can play the upright bass?
Oh yeah, it was just a fretboard.
Yeah.
It was electric. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was just basically like holding my bass like that, so it didn't really count. But my second encounter with the upright bass was on this album, and it was surprisingly easy. I mean, it wasn't like, oh, let's freaking have it, but like it wasn't that hard to get comfortable with it. I loved it. I think it was an upright bass that was from like the 40s or something.
Something like that.
Some
It
guy
was
just
nice.
dropped it off and loved it. It sounded like somebody walking around on an old pirate ship. It was like when you played it. But yeah, that one was kind of. I remember vocally, this calls for so much vulnerability, and I'm afraid to say the things that I think I want to say. And then again, that was like a timing thing. I wanted to put a bunch of words into a small amount of space, and then Joey was like, "Man, just space it out. Just like take your time on it." So that's why it's kind of spaced out and airy. And I had a really fun time doing like the backing vocals on it, and that was actually just going to be an outline for the cello, so that was interesting that it ended up staying. It was just a rough draft for, hey Matt, we want you to come in and play this, all that stuff. We were like, fuck it, let's just keep it. Wasn't it hard for you to play drums on that too? That
Yeah,
was like
this one
where
was tough.
that's where Evan, the powerhouse, had to chill out.
It's so hard for me to play quiet, man. It's really hard. I've gotten better at it. Yeah, we busted out brushes on this one. We kind of went back to our roots that we used on the acoustic EP. Kind of really brought those back up for this one.
It's great that we had that experience with CVIA to do that. It's a good learning experience, so we were pretty much ready for it.
What does it smell like?
I'm just-
Probably pee, because I just got a little on my hand when I was in the van, I'm sure. Thanks a lot, Josh. Everyone knows I pee.
All right.
It's good for
Sorry.
the skin.
And then the Bear 2, I went into the studio, it was just Joey and I, and this was the last song I did. And I remember I was like, oh, yeah, okay, we have one last thing to do. And it was at the end of Floor, there's like the chanting, you're free or whatever. That was the very last thing I did on the album. But before that, this was like, okay, this is one more thing we have to do is an intro for the Bear 1. I sat down, and this song was one take. It was the first time I had ever like played piano and sang and tracked it. Like, I don't really know where it came from, but I was sitting there, and I just remember like you can hear it slowly starting out, and every time I did that, I just like look at Joey and be like, and he'd be like, so he's like talking to me through the window, and we're trying to be quiet, and then at the end it kind of lingers, and it seems like it doesn't know where it's going because I didn't know what the fuck I was gonna do, and he's just over there like holding his breath, hoping that I wouldn't mess it up. Luckily, we made it through. I mean, it's not perfect, but the whole idea was it was like this real moment that was supposed to be like 30 seconds long, and it turned out to be a song when we decided to keep it. It was like, whoa, there's a lot that I could fix on this, and we can go in and like punch in, but let's just leave it alone. And that was the first time I'd ever just kind of felt that way. I wasn't afraid to sound like crap if it sounded like crap or whatever. I just didn't care because it was very real. It was a real moment. But I remember we had champagne after that and watched Pink Floyd videos just to get our mind off of this album because we were like done. We were like, dude, we're done. Let's watch somebody else in the studios. We just watched like behind the scenes awesome Pink Floyd videos.
Matt Gerard really complimented you well on that one, man.
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah,
Man, that
was
guy,
awesome.
he'll make you weep just hearing that. That cello. Cello is the saddest instrument in such a good way. One cool little tidbit about this album is that everything was tuned down a full step, which makes it easier for me to sing because I've always struggled with singing out of my range because CVI shot myself in the foot singing way out of my range on that. And then you can hear a little bit of Will singing in the background.
He secretly sings every song
Every
live.
song.
Yeah.
That's happening.
Your sunrise, summer fall, and summer